We spend our entire youth chasing a distant illusion, hoping to find peace in our fading twilight. Society teaches us to sacrifice our vibrant mornings, storing our precious energy for a cold night. You pour your coffee while staring at an empty ledger, wondering if the heavy grind is truly fair. The endless pursuit of infinite wealth steals our joy, leaving us hollow when we finally step down. We measure our intrinsic worth by the numbers we save, forgetting that time is the ultimate wealth. Millions of anxious people walk the same weary pathway, blindly ignoring the beauty of the present. They tell you to delay your happiness until you are old, ignoring the fragile nature of human life. You hoard every single dollar like a desperate survivor, praying the future will reward your pain. True financial freedom is never about reaching millions, it is about owning your precious moments. A massive retirement account cannot buy back lost years, nor can it restore your forgotten dreams. Imagine reaching a point where your money grows itself, freeing your mind from the constant worry. The mathematical magic of compound interest works slowly, building a massive fortress around you. You must push the heavy snowball over the mountain peak, allowing gravity to finish the long job. Once the rolling momentum takes over the entire process, you never have to add another cold flake. Early discipline creates an invisible shield of comfort, protecting you from future economic storms. The feeling of stopping your savings feels very reckless, clashing with everything you were taught. Your anxious brain screams loudly at the sudden change, begging you to keep hoarding more treasure. We suffer from a terrible sickness called overhoarding, sacrificing our current joy for no reason. Oversaving is a tragic waste of your most vibrant days, keeping you chained to a miserable desk. Dumping more cash into a bucket that is already pouring is the foolish mistake of a worried mind. You must calculate the precise moment your work is done, stepping away from the endless treadmill. Understanding your true needs requires a quiet reflection, stripping away the fake societal goals. A peaceful life in the country costs much less than you think, demanding only your basic needs met. The 4% rule gives you a solid mathematical base, preventing you from outliving your money. We divide our yearly expenses by that magic percentage, discovering the final target of our journey. But traditional advice wants you to climb the entire peak, carrying the massive burden on your back. The smarter path involves stopping halfway up the mountain, letting the gentle wind carry you higher. Working the numbers backward reveals a beautiful secret, showing you are much closer than you think. You must adjust your future target for silent inflation, recognizing that prices will slowly increase. Taking away the pressure of saving unlocks a massive door, revealing a bright world of new choices. You can suddenly afford to accept a lower-paying career, choosing peace over endless office battles. Your labor is finally decoupled from your future survival, granting you the ultimate human freedom. A 25-year-old holds the most powerful weapon, possessing decades of untouched endless time. Front-loading your investments creates a permanent base, requiring a short burst of extreme effort. Every dollar planted early becomes a massive shade tree, sheltering your older self from harsh sun. The multiplier effect of 30 years is truly shocking, turning tiny seeds into a sprawling forest. You could completely stop investing by your 30th year and still retire with absolute dignity. This mathematical reality breaks the typical chains of fear, offering a graceful exit from the race. He worked extremely hard to save $300,000, despising the daily corporate environment. He believed he needed another million to finally escape, locking himself inside a cage of ignorance. The glorious math revealed he was already entirely funded, possessing enough to coast until the end. He immediately resigned from the stressful corporate job, choosing to become a simple wood crafter. His new passion barely pays enough to cover the groceries, yet his spirit is soaring like an eagle. Statistically, he will still die a wealthy retired man, simply because he front-loaded his accounts. Overcoming the deep guilt of not saving is the hardest part, challenging your core belief systems. Watching your net worth stagnate feels incredibly scary, removing the chemical joy of the deposit. You must fiercely trust the silent background growth, refusing to let panic dictate your daily life. Countless individuals reach the vital tipping point safely, yet they blindly refuse to step outside. They continue to sacrifice their youth for meaningless math, missing the point of the long journey. A rigid spending limit is the absolute core requirement, preventing lifestyle creep from ruining you. If you suddenly desire a luxury boat at age 45, your previously secure numbers will shatter. Finding deep contentment in your current daily routine is the genuine secret to lifelong happiness. Modern society equates constant spending with personal success, trapping workers in golden handcuffs. Escaping the vicious consumer cycle requires mental toughness, demanding you ignore flashy marketing. You buy back your morning hours and your evening twilights, trading excess dollars for supreme joy. The traditional path forces you to work until your body fails, handing you freedom when it is late. Coasting allows you to reclaim the absolute prime of your life, engaging in hobbies you truly love. A smaller paycheck is completely fine when your future is safe, reducing your daily mental pressure. You no longer have to tolerate a deeply abusive supervisor because your survival is already funded. The incredible power to walk away from a terrible situation is the highest dividend of your money. Most financial advisors profit by keeping you in the dark, urging you to endlessly stack your coins. They completely ignore the tragic cost of your lost vitality, focusing purely on a spreadsheet goal. There is a profound sadness in dying with a massive portfolio, having never tasted the sweet breeze. Your youthful energy is a rapidly depreciating fragile asset, fading away faster than you ever know. Storing up riches for an age you might never even experience is a dangerous gamble with your time. Coasting strikes a perfectly beautiful harmonic balance, preparing for tomorrow while living today. The mathematics are completely indifferent to human emotion, multiplying silently in the background. You must clearly define what enough looks like for your soul, ignoring the greedy whispers of peers. The definition of a wealthy life changes as you grow older, shifting from objects to pure autonomy. True riches are found in the ability to sleep peacefully, knowing your older self is heavily guarded. Every frantic worker must calculate their personal tipping point, discovering their hidden reality. The result might shock you into a sudden brilliant awakening, proving the long race is already over. An overly cautious mindset robs you of your present adventure, demanding an endless stream of worry. We are entirely conditioned to view rest as a terrible sin, equating our human worth with our labor. Unlearning this toxic modern behavior takes deliberate practice, requiring you to embrace stillness. The heavy boulder of financial anxiety is finally lifted, allowing you to walk freely in the valley. You can volunteer for a charity that touches your weary heart, ignoring the tiny size of the salary. A simple existence surrounded by people you genuinely love is far superior to a lonely gold palace. Protecting your investment base during temporary market dips requires a sensible buffer of savings. Having 2 years of living expenses sitting in pure cold cash prevents you from selling in a panic. The sequence of your annual returns plays a massive hidden role, determining your ultimate timeline. If the stock market suddenly collapses during your first months, your secure buffer saves the dream. You simply spend down your protective cash during the recession, letting the portfolio heal quietly. This strategy heavily relies on the permanent growth of markets, assuming human progress never ends. Looking back over a century of chaotic global economic history, we see an undeniable upward pattern. Businesses will constantly innovate to generate larger profits, pushing your invested shares higher. You are quietly capturing the brilliant ingenuity of humanity, turning their hard work into freedom. When your mind is completely liberated from the daily survival, a beautiful creative spirit emerges. You might discover a hidden talent for painting vibrant canvas or writing stories that touch souls. Countless early retirees actually generate more random income simply because they finally relax. Financial independence does not mean you must stay quietly home, it means you can loudly choose how. You possess the supreme luxury of saying no to terrible tasks, preserving your precious inner peace. Front-loading your timeline demands a fierce early discipline, eating cheap meals in a tiny housing. But the temporary sacrifice pays off with an incredible margin, multiplying your later possibilities. Imagine waking up on a random Tuesday with no urgent schedule, sipping warm tea on a quiet balcony. You watch the rushing commuters trapped in their metal boxes, feeling a deep wave of pure gratitude. Your previous sacrifices built the sturdy bridge you stand upon, carrying you across the dark canyon. People will look at your relaxed lifestyle with deep suspicion, wondering how you escaped the system. They assume you inherited a large fortune from a wealthy uncle, completely blind to your early grit. The truth is just a simple math equation executed consistently, demanding patience instead of magic. Stop letting the traditional narrative control your beautiful life, rewrite the script for your soul. Calculating the present value of your distant retirement target is the greatest gift you can accept. Divide your ultimate finish line by the expected growth multiple, finding your magic freedom gateway. A 40-year-old needing 1 million at 65 years of age only needs about 200 grand. That solitary realization possesses the profound mental power to instantly cure your deep depression. You are allowed to take the heavy foot off the aggressive gas, coasting safely toward the checkered. Your remaining physical working years can be filled with deep joy rather than a miserable sad grind. The concept of enough is a forgotten virtue in modern culture, leading humanity into endless despair. We frantically try to fill our emotional voids with shiny things, completely ignoring our dying souls. Realize that true wealth is sitting quietly beside a clear stream, feeling the gentle morning breeze. You cannot buy a single extra heartbeat with all your deep wealth, no matter how hard you struggle. Time is the only non-renewable resource we are ever granted here. Spending it wisely is our only job. Once a precious hour vanishes into the dark abyss of the past, it is permanently gone from the world. Do not trade your most vibrant decades for a larger digital pile, risking your health for pure vanity. A simple wooden cabin filled with roaring laughter and warm love is better than an empty cold manor. Find your unique coasting number tonight before you fall asleep, charting a brilliant new destiny now. Let the incredible magic of silent compounding do the heavy work, stepping away from the daily battle. A quiet transition into a slower pace of life is entirely fine, allowing your weary bones to recover. Let go of the irrational fear that you will suddenly run out of cash, trusting the historical graphs. Embrace the magnificent beauty of a perfectly funded existence, unlocking the invisible prison gates. To reach this mental utopia, you must conquer your consumer habits, refusing to buy things you ignore. Every expensive gadget you purchase steals another day of freedom, extending your mandatory sentence. A fancy luxury vehicle sitting in your driveway looks very nice, but it chains you to a hateful boss. True luxury is having control over your Tuesday morning schedule, sleeping until your body awakens. Imagine taking a large pay cut to work at a quiet local flower shop, smelling the roses over stress. This paradigm completely flips the standard narrative upside down, prioritizing life over heavy labor. Many people fail because their ego demands constant public praise, flaunting wealth they do not have. If you can quietly surrender the need to impress your old neighbors, you will win the highest prize. Financial autonomy is an invisible crown you wear on your head, granting you a secret quiet majesty. You wander through the frantic crowded streets with a light step, knowing you are already fully safe. The exact mathematical formula is simple, but the execution is hard, testing your daily rigid resolve. You multiply your annual survival expenses by 25 years, revealing your ultimate final target. You pull that final future target back into present-day dollars, using a 7% discount rate. This reveals the precise amount of money you must hoard right now, allowing you to stop saving today. Young people hold an astronomical advantage in this beautiful math, needing only a tiny fraction now. A 20-year-old investing 50 grand can completely walk away, letting 40 years do the lifting. That 50 grand transforms into nearly 800,000, assuming the standard market returns. If they wait until age 50 to begin this identical long journey, the required starting amount grows. Do not punish yourself if you discover this deep secret later on, simply start executing the plan now. Every step you take toward the coasting milestone reduces stress, bringing you closer to true escape. You can start by reducing your work hours to 4 days per week, enjoying a permanent long weekend. The mental clarity gained from that single extra day of deep rest completely transforms your spirit. You might use that extra day to build a passionate side business, making money entirely on your terms. Suddenly, your side business becomes your main source of survival, creating a beautiful loop of joy. Coasting is merely a powerful stepping stone toward total freedom, bridging the gap between extremes. You do not have to jump directly from a stressful job to nothing. The middle pathway is fully viable. We are deeply terrified of having nothing to do when we leave work, fearing an empty, boring schedule. But human beings are inherently creative creatures by their nature, meant to freely build and explore. When the heavy chains of mandatory survival labor are finally cut, your true authentic self blossoms. You will likely find yourself working harder than you ever have, but on projects you genuinely adore. Do not let the strict finance crowd shame you for resting. Your path is uniquely yours to walk now. Some prefer the absolute safety of a massively padded fund, sacrificing their current existence. Constantly question if that fear is truly rational and valid, or just a deep trauma from your past. Healing your emotional bond with money is the highest goal, surpassing any rigid spreadsheet metric. Wealth is merely a simple tool designed to facilitate your joy. It is never the final destination. A hammer is totally useless if you simply stare at it all day, never using it to build a cozy home. Your portfolio is the exact same type of simple tool, meant to construct a beautiful dream life. Stop worshiping the shiny tool and start building your masterpiece, stepping into the warm sunshine. The future is completely unwritten and promised to nobody. Cherish the beautiful, fragile present. Calculate your coasting number today to discover your reality, removing the heavy blindfold of fear. You might realize your mandatory saving journey is entirely over, allowing a massive sigh of relief. The feeling of unlocking your own invisible prison cell door is the sweetest emotion you will know. Every hour you spend grinding for excess unneeded capital is an hour stolen from your loved family. We convince ourselves that we are working strictly for our kids, completely ignoring their true need. Children do not want a massive inheritance when they are 50, they want your present presence now. Coasting allows you to attend every single afternoon soccer game, cheering loudly from the sidelines. Your physical health will drastically improve without the deep stress, lowering your blood pressure. We spend our health to gain wealth and then spend wealth for health, creating a foolish, endless loop. Break that destructive cycle by recognizing when you have enough, pivoting toward a holistic balance. The golden years of retirement are never guaranteed to any mortal. Illness strikes without a warning. You might find yourself too tired to climb the beautiful mountains, settling for a view from the bus. By leveraging the immense power of early compounding interest, you fund your adventures in your prime. Travel while your knees are still strong and your mind is sharp, ignoring the corporate expectations. Let the stock market silently pay for your future medical care while you actively hike the woods now. A vibrant life is crafted from thousands of tiny brave decisions, choosing joy over infinite hoarding. Acknowledge the profound privilege of reaching this tipping point. Many people will never arrive here. Use your newfound freedom to elevate the communities around you, sharing your abundant human energy. Money is incredibly selfish until it is transformed into pure action, creating ripples of bright hope. Find your baseline survival number and fiercely protect its purity, resisting the urge to blindly add. Society will tempt you with bigger houses and faster luxury cars, promising happiness in a shiny box. Remember the empty feeling of your last massive expensive purchase, realizing the thrill fades fast. True inner peace comes from wanting absolutely nothing more at all, resting in your quiet sufficiency. You hold the unique power to design a life of radical intentionality, rejecting the standard script. The concept of front-loading your wealth is fundamentally disruptive, destroying the classic timeline. Embrace the glorious disruption and reclaim your stolen autonomy, breathing deeply for the first time. Calculate the exact math today and pin the number on your mirror, letting it guide your tiny choices. When your accounts hit that magical invisible boundary of enough, throw a massive party for your soul. Step boldly into the next brilliant chapter of your human journey, coasting safely toward the sunset. If you are struggling to believe the validity of this financial math, run the historical models again. Mathematics is a universal language that does not care about fear, it simply compounds without bias. Trust the fundamental trajectory of human economic development, knowing the long arch bends upward. Do not let short-term market volatility shake your firm conviction. Panic is the enemy of your peace. Your required coasting number acts as an unbreakable safety net, catching you if you decide to fall. You can finally pursue a risky artistic endeavor without any terror, because your basic food is paid. Many brilliant inventions were born from the minds of relaxed people, free from the daily hard grind. Give yourself the incredible gift of a spacious and open calendar, watching your creativity explode. The modern world desperately needs more fully actualized humans, rather than exhausted, tired drones. You owe it to yourself to investigate this profound escape route, measuring the distance to the exit. Your 40-year-old self will eternally thank your younger version, praising the early intense effort. The baton is passed down the timeline of your own precious life, carrying the flame of true wealth. Let the heavy burden drop from your tired and weary shoulders now, realizing the frantic race is won. Walk slowly through the peaceful garden you have carefully planted, tasting the sweet fruit today. Financial independence is ultimately a quiet internal state of mind, completely detached from greed. You are the sole author of your remaining beautiful life chapters, writing a story of pure freedom. May you find the immense courage to trust the compound math fully, stepping away from the dark wheel. Your incredible journey of endless accumulation is finally complete. Welcome to your bright new dawn. Live deeply and passionately in the beautiful center of your life, knowing the future is deeply safe. This is the profound magic of reaching your unique tipping point, securing your destiny forevermore. The endless chase for a bigger fortune is an addictive illusion, keeping your soul trapped in a box. Overcoming the deep societal pressure to work forever is vital, letting you claim your rightful rest. Your existence is far too incredibly precious to be spent entirely inside a boring corporate office. Understand that wealth is just a quiet servant waiting for orders. It must never be your cruel boss. Embrace the pure joy of knowing you have officially done enough, releasing the heavy mental baggage. Coasting smoothly into the final decades of your human experience is the ultimate triumph of logic. Let the mathematical realities of compound growth comfort your mind, erasing all the lingering doubts. You have successfully bought back the remaining years of your life. Treasure them with all your love. Thank you for hearing this profound philosophy of true liberation. I hope it transforms your reality. Never forget that your greatest asset is the ticking clock of life. Use it to build a vibrant legacy. Never forget that your greatest asset is the ticking clock of life. Use it to build a vibrant legacy.